Hello everyone, welcome to the 5th season of Fear and Greed podcast. This episode is in English because we have a very special guest with us here. So our guest for today is Vinh, the co-founder of Surgeons Labs, a Web3 marketing agency. He will tell us more about that, but Vinh came here for the BlockTalk conference, and we are going to see how he was feeling in the conference in Kosovo, and of course we're going to listen him about advices that we have for us and for the people that are trying to build on Web3. So Vinh, welcome to Kosovo and welcome to our office and welcome to BlockTalk.
Appreciate it, Lavinar. It's been an absolute pleasure coming to Kosovo from Australia. 14,000 kilometers,
Yeah.
no small feat whatsoever. But it was all worth it. You know, we're now wrapping up the last day of BlockTalk. I've been here for about a week now, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So I'm super excited to be here talking to you today, Lavinar. I think we're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah, of course, bro. First off, how are you feeling here in Kosovo?
Oh, man. Bit of mixed feelings now that we're heading out towards the end. You know, I've absolutely loved the journey here. From getting to experience the entire city, going through to different cities, to different restaurants, to different historical sites, learning a little bit more about the Kosovo history, and it's been surreal. And that's all thanks to you, Lavinar, right? Lavinar just has so much general knowledge, it's kind of crazy. He knows a little bit about, no, not even a little bit, he knows a lot about everything that you could ask a question for, right? You ask a question, he knows the answer to it, right? Sometimes I'd ask Shine questions and then he'd just refer it straight to Lavinar, knowing that if he were to give me an answer, we'd probably have to double check or fact check if it was real or not. So now that we're coming up towards the end of it, it's a little bit sad, I'm not going to lie. Just spending the whole week with you guys here, working in the office, sharing every single meal together, watching all of the planning and preparation for BlockTalk. It's a little bit bittersweet, mate. It's a little bit bittersweet.
So let's stay in Kosovo. What do you think that it differentiates Kosovo people or, for example, Kosovo builders from the other part of the world?
Yeah, and that's a great question. You know, I've been all over the world doing a lot of things for surgeons in many different countries, not in Europe just yet, and of course, first time here in Kosovo as well. I think there's a couple of different things. I'm going to start on the macro first, right? And on the macro scale, you know, like 75% of the population, I believe, is under 35 years old, right? And when you're looking at crypto adoption, a lot of this adoption is going to come from our generation. It's not going to come from the boomers. It's not going to come from all the old people right now. They're stuck in their ways, and it's going to be very hard to convert or change any of them in terms of how they think, right? Now, with such a young population, it gives so much more room to adopt this technology, and we already see it here. There's such high user adoption within Kosovo for crypto, and I think that uniquely sets you guys apart from a lot of the other countries out there.
Also, we heard Mr. Kirill Okhomyakov from Binance. He's saying that Kosovo was in top 5 for growth on crypto.
And in December, you guys had the highest trading volume as well. For
Crazy.
1.6 million people, that's kind of crazy.
We need one in December, that's why we did that volume.
No, it's been, I've heard the stats. I listened to the presentation very closely, and that's kind of just reaffirmed why we want to focus on this region as well. You know, if the exchanges are interested here, I think a lot of the world should be as well. Not just that, but sounds like there's going to be a really open door for crypto regulation and adoption from these regulatory bodies too. So a bunch of these macro things put together puts Kosovo in such a unique positioning to really become the crypto hub of Europe. And so when you compare this to other crypto hubs like Dubai, Korea, China, and like Turkey, for example, you're now seeing that a lot of the indicators are leading towards Kosovo possibly getting there within the next couple of months, if not years. So super excited for that. Now, to address your question on what differs when it comes down to the builders here in Kosovo, I've seen this firsthand. I've seen how you guys all work so hard. And the thing that really stands out to me the most, and this isn't just with your team, this is Kosovo-wide, it's your community-wide, is just the sense of support that you guys have for each other. Every single person here, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of competition. Everyone's here trying to uplift each other. You guys have very strong family values. And I can see that in your work ethic. I can see that in how you help each other up, through Crypto Schooler, through these training, education, upskilling. Even when we're walking around the road, and this happened multiple times. I'm not even joking, this happened multiple times. I'd just be walking with Labanot, and then someone would stop him and greet him and ask him for crypto advice. Yeah. Or they'd roll down their windows, driving past wherever we are, and then they just shout out, saying hi to Labanot. And that really goes to show how much of an impact these guys have had on their country, and why what they're doing right now is really going to leave a lasting legacy here in Kosovo.
That's the way we need to go. Vin, you was the first one to accept to come in Kosovo for the conference. When Shine told you, and you're going to explain that now, how he invited you, you accepted it, and we was like so proud that this year a guy from Australia will come to talk in the conference. So what is your feedback about the conference for the BlockTalk that you was a speaker also?
Yeah. So I'll quickly start on the story about how I got invited here to start with. You know, we're already doing a bunch of work with the team here. We're already doing a bunch of work with Shine as well. Our philosophy is that when we work together with partners, we want to make sure that we're supporting in every single facet, right? If you guys are doing something, we want to make sure that we're there to support it, we're there to amplify it, we're there to make sure that your work does not go to waste, right? And so Shine asked me, I think it was a week before Token 2049 Dubai started, he was like, we're doing this huge thing in BlockTalk. He shared the vision, he shared the legacy that he was trying to build with the team here, and it really resonated. You know, it's something that I wish we had a little bit more of back where we are. And so it took me about 24 hours. Within that 24 hours, I searched, Kosovo is actually a country, not a city, right? It's in Europe. I've never been to Europe before. And the fact that we know we're going to be doing a lot of things with you guys into the future, it was a bit of a no-brainer for us to make the decision to come here and support. I came with zero expectations, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because everything I experienced here would have shot all of those expectations out of the roof, right? So coming here, enjoying the hospitality, the famous Albanian hospitality that I, again, didn't know about until I got here, and my 4 or 5 kilos gained from this trip will be a testament to that. All the way to how deep-rooted the grassroots community here is, how involved a lot of the community members in the Crypto Albanian community were in supporting a lot of the BlockTalk event that you guys had. It's surreal because, again, I didn't know there was this strong of a community. I didn't know you guys had this amount of, really strong traders, really firm crypto believers. And in being able to experience this firsthand, it completely shaped the way that I think about Kosovo after just learning about it, right? Yeah. And so I have only had great impressions here. Now, speaking to BlockTalk as the conference itself, I've been to a lot of conferences in my time. Unfortunately, I'm the one stuck with doing all of the traveling and then going to all of these events and conferences all over the world. I'm traveling to like 2 or 3 different conferences at the same time. We just came back from Token 2049 Dubai, spent about 9 days there before coming here as well. But it's just such a different atmosphere here. Compared to a lot of these other like huge conferences that have been around for many years, right? And there's just so much like some of these groups and communities, there's a lot of exclusivity, there's not a whole lot of inclusion, there's a lot of fragmentation as well. You come here, it's one big venue, everyone is there talking to each other. A lot of these people already know each other as well. The energy and excitement is out of this world. People are super excited that this is happening within Kosovo, and they're really excited to be coming to listen to a bunch of international speakers come over and to speak to them about building in Web3, talking a little bit about things like tokenization, real world assets, and how they anticipate laws and legislations being changed within Kosovo to support a lot of these builders within the economy. So I was really impressed. I think. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think the panel that Shine, Argon, Addy and I had was one of the best. That was such a good conversation.
Bro, you was there. Agon was there, Eddie was there, Shine was there. You know, a
Loved
lot of alphas, bro.
Loved
Yeah,
it, loved
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
think we dropped quite a bit of alpha on that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
actually. So a lot of things cooking. Stay tuned. It's going to be worth your time.
Yeah, yeah. Let the people of Kosovo and of Albania that gonna watch that podcast know about what Surgeons does and how you created that, because it's a success story and the people here loves success stories because they take as an example to do something or to build something by themselves. So let us know more about Surgeons.
100%, 100%. And I'm glad we're having this conversation now.
Yeah.
I actually haven't had the chance to share this with you just
Yeah.
yet, but we have a bit of a rich history that I think a lot of the Surgeons community members are very proud of because they were involved in this journey all the way. But let me start at the beginning on how I came into doing this full time to start with. So I came from commercial property finance. I studied actuarial studies and commerce in university. Was very focused on my education up until when I started working in a bank, right? And when I was in a bank, I realized that a lot of what I was doing was so meaningless, right? You're just one cog in a wider machine. You're doing just one section out of the whole funnel. It's not fulfilling work whatsoever. And in doing that, I realized there's got to be something more out there, right? And I think crypto really encapsulates what that entrepreneurial mindset allows for and just how much upside you can have when you really do want to start building in crypto. So me, my co-founder, and my best friend, Julian, or as many people know him, Ruthie, we decided to start a community. And look, we weren't marketers back then. We weren't all the best at branding. You know, we didn't come up with great names like SIG, Scarius Investment Group, or Crypto Scholar. You know what we called ourselves? We called ourselves Alpha Club, right? Super generic. It wasn't gonna go anywhere if we stayed that way, right? But the premise was simple. We wanted to create, and I think you guys can resonate with this as well because you've done this for a really great scale too. We wanted to bring together a group of traders, investors, people that were interested in NFTs, and put them all in one place so that we could share alpha together. Back in the day, that was like a big thing, right? But as the bear market started to come around, the opportunities became few and far between, right? And we didn't want to see people leaving the space or losing all of their money and not realizing that there's so much more to building in the industry. And so we broke down a couple of successful launches within the industry. And what we did was we put together some training and education. Things like collab management, things like community management, things like even development. We'd have subject matter experts come in. So we were very focused on building these people up, right? Not just giving them a fish and expecting them to survive, but teaching them how to fish so that they could work and enjoy themselves in this industry. Very similar to what you guys were doing and what you guys are doing at scale now. But at that time, we were just doing it in Discord. We'd run a voice chat, we'd chat every single day, we built really deep relationships within our community. And not long after that, projects started coming to us. They were like, you have such a strong community. Do you think you'd be able to help us do more or less the same thing? Or would you happen to have workers for us? So within our first year of doing that, we ended up rebranding to Surgeons. And I'll save that story
Which is the great name, by the way.
Okay.
I told you, I'm saying in public now, I like a lot. Like I told you that I have a special talent of naming something. I told you what I named in businesses that we have in Kosovo. Surgeons Labs is one of the best that I heard.
I appreciate that. I mean, okay, now I'm going to get into the story. I kind of have to know, right?
Yeah.
So within our community, we had a saying. It was some guy named Mr. Pluto Soda back in the days. And I remember this very vividly, right? He'd always say a rising tide lifts all boats. And it's that, when you do well for yourself and the people around you, like you're lifting everyone up essentially. I don't know if that's the exact explanation for it, but that's the gist that I got from it, right? So rising tide lifts all boats. What could I create as a synonym towards that? And I searched up a couple of words. I found the word surge. I couldn't just name it surge. I think that'd be too generic. Too many people would see that. There's not a whole lot of brand differentiation. And so I thought, Surgeons, hey, that's pretty cool, right? So we put that together. We came to an agreement with the team. We rebranded everything from Alpha Club to Surgeons. And immediately after that, within the next couple of months, we ended up landing about 450 jobs for our community members. And this wasn't us working directly with the projects yet. It was us outsourcing these jobs and just giving these opportunities towards our community members so that they had made their own money, got a taste, and then started to build for themselves. So I know this is a bit of a long story, but stay with me here. At that point onwards, we now had a heavy hitting community of builders, true builders who now had ground floor experience. People who had been with us for such a long time already. And that became the beginning of Surgence Labs as the company. We already saw how these people operated. We already saw who was getting the best results. We already saw who was the most passionate, driven, who shared all of the same values that we did as hustlers inside the space. And so we onboarded a couple of these guys to be our first team members, right? And I even to this day, they're with us. You know, people like Zeno, our head of community, Tiasha, our head of growth, Kasha, our head of marketing, Abdo, our head of strategy, and you know, like so many of our other team members that they essentially just came from the community, no experience at the beginning, built themselves up, became subject matter experts themselves, and now had their own brand identities within the space where they're well respected for. So that's kind of the origin of Surgence. You know, it wasn't something that we had planned for. You know, we didn't start off as a marketing agency. It's something that we gradually evolved into being because we found a gap in the market and we found it was something that we could do well with the best utilization of the talent that we had within the community. From then, now we have a team of about 30 full-time team members and a couple of contractors that work closely with us as well. And from just doing, you know, bits and pieces of the marketing, like collab management or partnership management or social media management, we now manage the whole funnel, end to end. All of the campaign planning, coming up with all of the creativity that creates novel experiences for these projects and for the users, coming up with the entire user journey to make sure that there is a really strong funnel to capture users in, to retain them, and to eventually nurture them towards being long-term committed community members.
In my opinion, that I think one of the things that blocks young people to build, especially in Kosovo and in countries like Kosovo that they are small, is that they think that look, Kosovo is small. In our case, like I cannot do a global product or I cannot do a global company from a country like Kosovo or Montenegro or Albania, like countries that are small. But we know that that's not true. So in your opinion, do you think that a couple of youngs from Kosovo that are passionate about Web3 can create what you have created?
I'm going to look directly into the camera as I say this. You got to remove all of these self-limiting talks. You got to believe in yourself. You got to also look at people like Labanot and his team, you know, Shine came into the space when he was what, 18, 19 years old? And he built something amazing for himself. He's born and raised in Kosovo. I started my company when I was about 22, 23 years old. And that's the thing about the crypto space. It gives you all of these chances and opportunities to really break out of the regular rat race that a lot of people are in, right? It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the level of education that you have. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care about all of that nonsense, right? It cares about how hard you're going to hustle. It cares about what types of results you promise you're going to deliver. And it judges you based on that and that alone, right? We didn't come into this as a marketing agency. We ended up even working for free for a couple of projects towards the beginning to build that initial portfolio of case studies of success before we decided to really scale these operations up. So the opportunities are there. It's just, are you willing to take those opportunities? I think you should be, because we don't know when there's going to be another opportunity to really capture all of, you know, like all of this attention that we have within crypto right now. It's genuinely one of those generational things that allows you to catch up to a lot of the people who have been working for decades and be able to create something for yourself. And if you're in Kosovo or you're anywhere in Pristina and you do want to learn from some of the best, like I'm talking to them right now, and you could be as well. So look into these guys. They do amazing things. I've been in the office for a week now. I've seen 2 sessions hosted on Monday and 2 sessions hosted on Tuesday by Labanot and They're absolutely amazing. They got amazing desks set up here. They also have like sorry, I'm going to shill for you because I understand how well it works now, right? They have a public Discord, they have a subscription Discord, and they have an amazing community here. So look into it. It's going to be worthwhile.
We appreciate. Also, Web3, Web2, and internet is borderless. So all the people from the world can build, and they can be known that they have built something big. That's our dream, and also our way that we are going through that to build something like, for example, bringing Binance in Kosovo was a big thing to us because
Huge. Huge.
Kosovo wasn't on the map of these exchanges since last year with Bybit. Now with this year with Binance, Kosovo everyone started to look at in the different way. I'm gonna make you the famous question: is it worth to build and to work on Web3?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Web3. I wouldn't have visited the 20 or so countries that I've just come back from if it wasn't for Web3. Yeah. I'd probably be comfortable sitting at my bank job for the rest of my life, but then I wouldn't be able to see all of the big things that the world has to offer if it weren't for Web3. You know, being a 23-year-old at the time that I started the company, I'm 26 now, but back then when I started the company with my co-founder, we were a bunch of, we'd just come out of university. We've only been working in the professional industry for about 2 years or so. We weren't at a level that we would ever meet, you know, executives, CEOs, C-suite team members, investors, all of these big angels. That would have never been possible in our traditional careers. Now we're rubbing shoulders with all of these types of people. You know, we're talking to politicians, we're talking to big investors, VCs, we're talking to people who have done really big things within their lives. Like just even being on the panel with Argon and Adi, insane, right? Adi's had like 4 exits. He's on his 5th company now. Argon has like 52 companies under his venture builder. Imagine a 23-year-old banker having the chance to talk to someone like that. Impossible. It would have never been possible, right? So the amount of opportunities you get within Web3 are endless. And if you grab this bull by the horns, it's going to take you really far, especially for a country like Kosovo, where you guys are primed for huge amounts of growth into the next couple of months, if not years.
I also saw a lot of builders these 2 days in conference. I didn't know that they exist. You know, like they're coming to me talking like I'm building this. For example, today one guy was there and he was working for Cardano. The other one was working for Starknet, and they was doing another product, but they live in diaspora, for example. In Switzerland and in some countries in Europe. I think and I believe that also people from Kosovo can do that. A lot of people from our community started to work for projects. For example, one of them is Cubic, and also a lot of other projects. So it's possible to do that thing also from Kosovo. Do you think that the guy that is on Web2, because we talked yesterday in a panel, but it was in Albanian, that guy was saying that AI is coming, and AI will do some damage to the Web2 developers. So they need to get upgraded. And the best way and the best room to go is Web3. Do you think that it's time for Web2 developers to start switching to Web3?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I think there's a lot of sides to this because not every single company is going to need a Web3 developer, but there are endless opportunities both in Web2 and Web3, right? But how many developers right now from Web2 are moving into Web3? I think that's what you should be looking at, right? And if you want to make it so that you're, as a developer, instead of competing with, you know, let's say 1 million other developers, now you're only competing with, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 other Web3 developers. It makes your opportunities a lot more, like you essentially increase your surface area of success by moving into an industry where you have a little bit less competition. So Web2 developers are always going to be needed. Even with AI coming around, it's going to be the same more or less for improving standards with Web2 and Web3. but learning Web3 development does give you extra, opportunities. If those are opportunities you want to take. Not just that, but I know for a fact Web3 developers get paid a lot more than Web2 developers. Significantly more. I've seen some crazy contracts out there.
Yeah, but they deserve, because they break their comfort zone from
Exactly.
Web2 to go at the Web3. So basically, they go from good to great.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I have one interesting question. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received in your journey?
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
That is a really
that's
tough
why
one.
I saved here that one. Because-
I think I'm gonna need some time to think about this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of things that I've written in my phone that sometimes I reflect on. Let me take a quick look.
check. Also, you can give an advice from your experience to the people who are building.
Yeah.
And I love that you keep notes on these kind of things.
I do. You have to.
Yeah. So, until he finds, let's wait for Vin. Advices are great.
I have a lot actually, so I need to find the best one.
Yeah, I have a friend. When I was a software engineer, I was building a product, and he was speaker today. He talked about AI agents, and he called me on a meeting. He's older than me.
DJ?
No, the Betim.
Oh, okay.
It was in the panel with DJ.
Got you.
And he was giving me lections for 2 hours. And in the end, he said me, look, I spoke to you all of these things because I don't want you to make same mistakes. So I'm saving you a lot of time. Now go and build the product. And it was like, calling me just to give me an advice and motivating me. Then I went crazy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I think one thing that's going to be a piece of advice that I got quite a while ago that I think is going to be really important for a lot of the people in Kosovo right here, right now, is that real change works from the inside. If you don't change your mind about yourself, you won't change anything else, right? And a lot of these people thinking that they've come from such a small country and aren't able to achieve all of the things that they want to, if they believe that for themselves, then they're never going to be able to break free from that reality. So that's maybe one piece of advice that I'd give to them.
Great one, yeah. Continue if you want, if you have more.
There's a lot here, actually. There's a lot here. And maybe one for me was that very early on, right, when I first started Surgeons together with Ruthie, I didn't tell anyone about it, right? I didn't want to let external opinions kind of like shape my reality, right? And I knew that coming into such a new industry, there would be a lot of pushback at the time. My parents didn't know what I was doing. My mom and dad were a little bit worried that I just quit my 6-figure job to come into an industry that they thought was a bit of a scam. They didn't know what, they saw that I was always on calls. They saw that I was always in my room
Staying
hustling.
awake at night.
Very late at night, actually. And they kind of just had to trust that I was going to do something with myself after quitting my job, right? And so sometimes you do kind of just need to build in solidarity, right? Especially towards the beginning as you start to try to figure out exactly what you guys are doing. And I think that was really important because if I had told a lot of people what I was doing back then, maybe I would have fed into some of their opinions and maybe not have taken the same path that I'm taking right now. Maybe I would have changed the way that I was doing things and maybe Surgeons would have never existed, right? So don't let other people's opinions become your reality. If you believe what you're doing, like go for it. Go for it. Don't look back.
Crypto is so volatile, and as we know, like we have bull markets, bear markets, and the big money are at the bull market, especially for the agencies. How do you keep yourself and the team motivated to continue besides it is bull market or bear market?
I actually push back on this a lot.
Yeah.
We started during the bear market. We were already bear market proof. We've been at capacity for...
Bear markets are for building.
Exactly. So we built out our systems, our processes. When the bull market came, we realized we needed to upgrade a lot of this as well, but we already had really strong foundations. even during the bear market, we had quite a lot of clients as well. And in the bull market, it's just bigger contracts, bigger clients, longer contracts as well. And of course, there's always those builders that have been waiting for the market to improve as well. And then they're coming in ready to launch as well. But the key difference between the two markets is that I actually enjoy working more during the bear market when things are quieter, because there's a lot less noise and competition, right? If you come up with a strong narrative, you come up with a novel campaign, you can attract so much more attention during the bear market. Even though there's less people within the industry during the bear market, the attention is a lot easier to attract. And so we like to think of it as like attention being cheaper when the markets are kind of volatile and choppy, and being very expensive when it comes to the bull market, right? Because now you're competing with hundreds of different projects that are trying to launch at the same time. KOLs then end up beefing up their prices quite heavily because they have, you know, a lot of demand. And so bear market building is really, really, really about creating something unique enough that people will want to get involved in. And to be honest, I don't know if we really need to do a lot of motivating within Surgeons. We've built such a crazy team that have come from our from our community, that they care about the company as much as we as the founders do. It's great. Kind of crazy how self-motivating a lot of our team members are, right? And some of my team members have told me before, you know, they've had insane offers from other places as well, but they don't get that same sense of family, that same sense of community, or they don't feel that, like, they don't feel like they'd be able to get more or less the same thing that they do working together with us and having grown with us from their very early stages to where they are now. And so we've built a team that really does operate as like a bit of a family. And I know that's always cliche to say, to be honest. It even feels a bit...
I saw them, so I can say that.
It's crazy.
Like, I met Abdu in Dubai for the first time.
Yes, yes.
It was like knowing him for 100 years. Like, we were so close.
Exactly.
Immediately we start talking things that nobody talks when they see for the first time. So Abdu, great guy. Also Ruthie, I met him on the event that you have in Dubai. Ruthie was supporting conference from Australia. He was reposting my videos that are in Albanian.
Yes, he was.
And he's Australian, so yeah, good support. And this shows morality at the first sight. So I saw them. I know that what kind of guys they are, and I believe that they love company, and you're like a family.
It's really surreal, right? Being able to see where we came from to where we are now. Just it's what really drives us, right? Being able to put food on the table for our team members, for their families, their kids, and just knowing that we're able to provide in that way, that it keeps everyone motivated, right? Everyone's got that same common denominator, that they're here to hustle, that they're here to build, and they're here to create a legacy for Surgeons, because they know that at its bare bones, they've built this with us, right? And so we don't have like a huge hierarchy structure, to be honest. You know, like we're a very flat type of hierarchy structure. We're very open to feedback. There's never a point in time where we hear something and we're like, you know, like you shouldn't be saying that, right? Yeah. And we adjust very quickly as well, right? If there's anything we need to be improving in and our team mentions it, like it's done. So I'm very grateful. I do need to give Ruthie his flowers though, right? Yeah. He's the CEO, he's the leader, he's the type of guy that will, you know, motivate people to do the task that he wants done, but from their own free will, right? Because he's an amazing leader. A lot of what I've learned as well, it has come from him, you know, all the sales, all the business development, marketing, writing proposals, all of my daily activities, I've actually learned from Ruthie. So I can't just skip over that. I got to give him his flowers. We're here because of Ruthie, and also because of the culture that he's instilled into all of us.
Good job, Ruthie. Good job. Yeah.
He's a killer. Yeah. He's a killer.
Yeah. And the last question, do you have a book or a podcast that you can suggest to people to read or to watch?
I think I'm a little bit different to you. We had this conversation the other day about the types of books that you read, right? And you like to read things that are a little bit non-conventional, to take yourself outside of what might be the matrix, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I'd say the book that really made the biggest impact for me was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F word. I'm not going to say that here. Right? And
I read that.
yeah, like that was the very first book that I read that then led me down the rabbit hole of reading, you know, these personal development types of books and reframing how I think about life and how I think about challenges and obstacles. Subtle Art of Not Giving a F was the first thing that kind of pushed me towards like radical accountability, right? Where you're in control of your own future. You're going to be the only person that can change things for yourself. And that's when things started to really move for me, right? And then we've had that's a book, podcast. I'd highly recommend listening to Andrew Huberman.
That we listen both.
We both listen to Andrew Huberman, biohacking, figuring out how we best utilize the resources that we have, you know, the supplements that we take, the amount of sleep that we get, and then all of the science behind it. I think that was also a game changer. You know, having a good diet, having a good sleep schedule, game changer, right? I have so much less brain fog now because I'm doing things right.
The cheat sheet for productivity.
100%, 100%. So I know that we're talking towards a crypto audience right now, but you guys need to get your sleep, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's be shifting or your sleep earlier or later, you guys got to be getting your sleep.
So Vin, first I'm proud for myself that I came and I spoke English until now, like for 30 minutes or something like that. Then I'm very glad that we had with this conversation that was based more on your experience and to share your experience to the other guys, especially guys from our region who are going to watch this podcast. So thank you for everything. Thank you that you came in Kosovo. Thank you that you came in BlockTalk. Thank you for the podcast. Thank you for everything that you did for us, bro.
Man, I think I appreciate that, but I think you deserve all of the thanks, right? You're the one that planned an absolutely amazing conference that made it worth it for me to come to start with. You took me out to try every single Albanian and even other regions' foods as well. I do need to push back on the fact that I now need to lose all of this weight, but I'd rather enjoy a meal here and then work it off back in Australia. Because when I'm back in Australia and I want to share a meal with you, I'm not going to be able to do that. So it's been an absolutely amazing week. You guys have shown so much hospitality. You've even set up a desk for me as well.
You and all Surgeons Labs, Kosovo is their second home.
Man, I feel that, right? I genuinely feel that. I wrote a tweet earlier about feeling like I got adopted into the team here and the community here as well. And it's been such a pleasure. So I'm really excited for the next one. BlockTalk 2026. It's going to be a vibe. I will see you guys there.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, that's all for tonight. See you in the next episode.